Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. He then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda.
Or turn off the engine?
You there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Oh, I have to sacrifice myself and the game just started.
But for all of our lives.
Jeez.
Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Sure, why not? It's gonna be another. Oh!
Let me pause here for a second.
Alright.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
I'm alive! You bring me back just to die once more. Oh, shit. What the? Uh-oh. Here we go. I was going the right way through the maze. Wow.
He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Most people stick to like one genre of games because that's either what they're good at, that's what they enjoy. They did? Even though the last one...
this is new for Coda. It's an
taken
actual
forever.
puzzle.
Ooh.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay, open the door. Okay, it's a wall. Can't see if anything. It's a wall. Okay, sorry. So, no. Yes, it was. Haha.
Don't forget that solution,
So
because we're going to see
creepy,
this puzzle
though.
again soon.
Oh my place, it's
We're
just
gonna see
so
it a lot.
eerie just looking into this. It's like you have to cross this like barrier of darkness. Oh, there's those 3 dots again. I wonder if it means something. Interpretation, why not just use Coda's? Unless Coda doesn't rightfully explain it within the game. That would make sense. Ooh, a lamppost.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
It's gonna lead to this
He wants
lamppost.
a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to
I
know
didn't
you
even think
through
about
their
it like
work.
that. That's really cool, is to
I
understand
think this is why I always liked Coda's
what they
games so
produce.
much. Is because it felt like they let me have that connection.
The only real downside I see to that is that this is after the fact that Coda stopped making games and that Davey has now like compiled them and released them, which kind of sucks. It's kind of sad because why go through all the effort unless everything is he's
At
using
the end
them
of
as
this level,
reference
we're
points
going to see
for
the puzzle
himself.
again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Ooh, we get to find out
Each
what
of
the
these
puzzle
games
means.
represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it.
Okay.
And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his
Oh,
life
there are those 3 dots again.
before
Yes,
moving on
100%.
to the
This
next.
has got to be a calling card of Coda's
In
because
each of his
we've
games,
seen it in
after exploring a theme that
pretty
you know,
much
he might
every
find
level so
difficult,
far.
Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. He understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for
Now it's
moving
getting
on.
creepy.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you
And
here.
then walk on
To
through
step back and
to the other
connect
side.
the pieces together, to grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
What does that sound? There's a lamppost again. Well, I was saying, then you're able to go back and okay, this worked, this didn't. You're able to reflect on what you created. And you can make it better. You can make it what you want, without having to settle, or without having second thoughts about it. Oh, that's a good point. These are all Kodo talking to himself. Because if he's not releasing this game, he's the only one that's playing it. And if this is supposed to be, it's supposed to be you from the past because you're still in prison, it would be Coda from the past because he's still in prison. And Coda from the future after he escapes prison. Wait, try stepping back from the stage. Okay. Backing up. Oh, here's a lamppost. How far back am I supposed to step? Here? Oh. So you bar me from the stage? Wow. Oh. This is
The
working.
game ends with
This is
this
what it was
eerie
like.
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution
Again?
to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform
this is
and
kinda
having to
overkill
chase
now.
Success, the
One
answer
set
for
of
Coda
bars
is
was
to
enough.
withdraw,
Oh my
to
god.
hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
I felt that.
Seeing
As
this
soon as
game
it
at the
broke,
time
I
that he made
really
it
felt
looked
that.
really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Where's the machine?
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Wow, a lot of these
I
are
don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it.
things that I've clicked on, I think.
I wanted it to stop
Oh,
more
some of
than
them
anything.
are. Some of them aren't.
I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Jeez.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one,
He's just telling
Coda
himself
takes
that he's
another
free.
7
Everything's gonna be
months
better.
and comes up with a new game.
And that, you know, if he just keeps working, he'll figure things out. But clearly, his work is just hurting him more so because he's dumping his emotions into his games, and they're all negative emotions. He's making these games that are just completely negative, and if he's not releasing them to anybody, no one's gonna see his pain other than himself. That would definitely be really good for Coda. For if his games were out there and people could see like the work he was doing, maybe he would understand like you should be putting more positive emotions into your games so you can get feedback, like both positive and negative, and he won't be focusing so much on pouring his emotions into his work, maybe more so on, you know, creating games that people would enjoy and that he enjoys creating.
Press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Sweet. Well, you couldn't just delete the maze? You had to put a bridge over it? I do like how Dave is helping us through this, because it seems like a lot of the... Oh, shit. A lot of the things that Coda's put into his games, they seem to just stop the player from being able to play them. But I guess if you're not ever releasing these games to people and you're playing them, why are you stopping yourself from progressing?
And to be fair,
If
it's
you've
not
done
like
all
this
this
is
work
the first
already-
game that's needed some modification to be playable.
Strange.
Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
That
But
seems
that
doesn't
game
really
had an
seem like a
idea that it
game.
was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Maybe Coda's got a
The only
idea
way
for
past
something
this
behind
challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the
This,
invisible maze, it's
this.
frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask
That's
anything
it.
of me, except
That's it right
a
there.
lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
Yeah, it's very strange that he puts these things in. If he's the only one that's gonna play I guess he would know the code. But to put in an invisible maze for yourself, what's the point? To put in a code for yourself that you already know, what's the point?
Switch to open
you're
this door
standing.
is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's
What?
literally impossible to solve from this side.
Unless
So
you
even
hack
if you
the
somehow
game
brute
or
forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem.
that's what games are supposed to be. They're
feel
supposed
like
to
a
be
failure, I
problems,
guess,
and you're
when I
supposed to
can't
find solutions to
Fix
them.
the problem. Him.
He's right. It does feel
I
very
asked him
distant.
please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Are the 3 dots his calling
And he
card?
didn't.
Oh, damn it! Oh shit. Dear Davey, thank you for the interest.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
Oh my god.
It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
He was just trying to help him, and
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I
And
took
Coda
your
took
work
it
and I
the
was
wrong
showing
way.
it to people, it actually
I wonder at
felt
times whether you think I'm making these games
it
for
felt
you.
as though I were responsible for something important and
Well, if
valuable.
Davey's the only one seeing these games, maybe he would think that. Well, okay, I should phrase this properly. To use your games as a coping method, Coda should be putting his games out there so that people can see them and people can understand them and people can understand Coda himself, not only the games. And they can connect with him and they can help him and they can encourage him to go out and seek help or to make more games like this, and that drive is going to progressively help him to get better. But it seems like he's encasing himself in all of his own negativity, and that's not doing him any good. It's actually hurting him more so. Would you stop changing my games and adding lampposts? Wait, what? Didn't Dave just say that Coda was putting these lampposts in his games, but now he's saying that Coda's saying that he put the lampposts in the games? That Davey put them in? What? Whoa, what's going on here? There's no... Oh my god. There's no way
That's
to win.
why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that
Oh,
I'm
the game's
sorry.
like slowly zooming in on
I
the
know
door.
I screwed up. Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
On the wall, it's written to Dave to stop adding these lampposts, and now Dave is talking about people telling him he's good and people telling him he's got to produce more work and do all these things. Maybe Coda isn't a
Solution.
person, but he's an alias. Coda is an
Really enjoyed
alias
making
for
prison games.
Davey, Because why would Coda say you're putting lampposts into my games, and then Davey also say that Coda puts the lamppost into his games as an ending? It's very strange. Oh, this feels just so empty and cold. Yeah, and now we're seeing all this negativity from Davey, and it feels like Coda and Davey are the same person. Or maybe that Coda is who Davey sees himself in the past and not in the present. Oh my god. He talks to himself from the past and he's saying, oh, everything will be okay, everything will get better. And Davey is the man in the
If I
booth
knew
talking.
that my life depended on finding something to
Coda
be
is the
driven by
one
other than validation,
in prison still.
what would that even be?
Long hallways again. Here we go. Wait, what is that? Is that... That looks like the thing from the Whisper Machine level. Okay. Getting there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it looks like it for sure. Is it, what was it? The engine? The engine of the Whisper Machine where you... The glitch isn't in it is if you die, you start floating up. Okay, now I'm starting to think even more so that this is Dave's game, and Dave's talking about himself, and Coda's his alias is Coda. Maybe it's not Coda of the past. Coda's the past him, but an alias he's using so that he can validate some of his ideas about it. I don't know. Let's see, if I float up, 100% Dave is Coda. Because why wouldn't Coda have fixed this? Why would he just put it into a level where you start floating up? Wait, what? Maybe I did. Whoa. Holy shit. Oh my god.